Hello there YouTube, Polar Bear 084 here, back with another episode of A Bear's Guide to Hunting. And today we continue our G rank escapades with the hunt for the Emerald Congalala. This is our second monster variant that we have run into so far in G rank. The first being the Plum Daimyo Hermitor. I'll put the video up in the top right, which was our previous video, previous episode. So if you want to go see that, it's up there for you. But today we're dealing with something rather different. If you remember Congalala from the very early episodes of this series, it is a large primate. It has very strong attacks, and it can be relatively fast when you're trying to deal with it. And the Emerald Congalala is very much of the same. And so we're going to have to learn how to get around some of his more damaging attacks and start to pay attention to when our openings are. So he's usually in one of these three areas up here. He's usually in Area 3, Area 1, and I think this is Area 2. Yeah, this is Area 2. So he's usually in one of these three areas. Very occasionally he can be in Area 4, which is the cave in the bottom left of the map. But typically he's in one of these. So what you'll find yourself doing is going from here down to Area 3, kind of looking around, not seeing him. So we go to Area 1, see if he's there. And usually he's in here, if he's in neither of those two. But the game does like to make a liar out of me, so... Oh, there he is. There he is. Emerald Congalala. He's a lot bigger than I feel like Congalala is, although it could just be an illusion. And, so let's begin, shall we? So while Congalala is weakest to fire, Emerald Congalala is actually weakest to ice. And that is why we've brought the Golden Serpantblade. The information should be down there in the bottom left in Bear's Broken Brain. So the Golden Serpantblade is the best weapon I could find with an ice element. It has a very high ice element, and the only weapons that have a better one are the Kushala Deora weapons, but unfortunately getting those is like winning the lottery. You have to first find and mine flat rust stones in the high rank volcano, and then once you've done that, you have to then you have to then take them to be polished at the armory, and there is a certain chance you will get the one of the rusted greatswords that you can then turn into a Kushala Deora weapon, but most likely you'll just get a random weapon. And that takes a lot of time and a lot of repetition, and honestly, I just created this and I'm using this. It has roughly 800 attack, it has about 400 ice elements, and so all told there's about 1200 damage that you can put out. However, you are getting bonus damage. I think it's an extra 50% from the ice element, so it's actually quite a bit more than that. So this is definitely worth doing, and I would say definitely worth getting. It's just Geoprey, high rank Geoprey items, low rank to get it, to make it, and then high rank to upgrade it to the Golden Serpantblade. And I would say it's definitely worth doing, and I would definitely say that a Greatsword is good for this matchup, largely because it gives you the opportunity to block, and also allows you to do these kinds of effects when he's standing around doing nothing, which is frequent. There's a lot of his attacks that take a couple of seconds to deploy, quote unquote, and so using that time to put in extra damage, I think, is definitely useful. However, I would say Sword and Shield would be equally as good, although maybe not as good at blocking some of his attacks. But definitely would give you the momentum and the agility that I think would be very useful in this fight. Because as you can see, he can definitely move. Congalala is a little slow when you first deal with him, but Emerald Congalala is nothing like that at all. He's very fast, very rapid, very agile, and oft farts frequently, which is something to be aware of. Legitimately, something to be aware of. These insects are always a problem. Rolling away? Okay, good. I think we're fine. So yeah, the other reason I would say a Sword and Shield is useful is because you can use it to get rid of the Vespoids that frequent this area. They're just everywhere. So I would say Sword and Shield is good for, if for no other reason, just for that. Alright, I believe he left the region. Yeah, he's going to Area 2, and I would love to get out of here as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to make use of the base camp, because you'll fight him in Area 1, Area 3, and Area 2, all of which are pretty close to base camp. So if you're a little low on health, don't use potions if he leaves the area, just go here. It takes a little bit of time, but this is going to be a little longer of a fight regardless of what you do, so you might as well take advantage of this fact. If you're in Area 3, I don't think it's worth trekking all the way back here, but one thing that you can get rid of at base camp is the stink effect, or the smelly effect, that prevents you from eating any items, and Congalala can put that effect on you by farting on you effectively. And so if you're in Area 1 or Area 2 and you have that effect hit you, you can't heal unless you have a deodorant. And if you've gone through those, base camp is a good fallback. You just come back here and sleep, and that status ailment goes away. So I definitely say it's worth thinking about. Also, base camp is much quicker. It's quicker to go from Area 1 to here and then use this to go to Area 2 than it is to go from Area 1 to Area 3 and then down to Area 2. When we get the map for the jungle, when the supplies come in, that will, I think, make a lot more sense. But also, I'll put it in Bear's Broken Brain, so you at least have a visual aid in the bottom left when I'm talking about the map. You can kind of see the areas there. But yeah, so largely so far, Congalala hasn't been that different from his pinkish cousin. He's doing a lot of the same attacks. There, he farted by, or he roared by farting, which is something that Pink Congalala also, I think, did, if I remember correctly. I might be wrong on that. But yeah, most of his attacks either involve his claws or his behind. So what you want to do is try to make sure that you aren't in front of either of those things. You don't want to be attacking him from behind, because he can very easily hit you with one of his gaseous attacks. Like that, what could have hit me there when he became enraged. And this one where he pats his stomach and then farts, that's a huge attack. It's very difficult to dodge. And it also does a lot of damage and sends you flying into the air for quite a long time. And meanwhile, from the front end, he will do this kind of 3 series of charging. He'll charge once, then turn, charge again, then turn. And during the final charge, he will run and either leap, like he just did, like that leap right there, that body slam, or he will claw. He'll do a claw swipe at the end. One of the two. So there's the first charge. And there's the... somehow that clipped me. So at least now you get to see what that looks like. It's very wide range, and that's where the blocking came in handy. I actually don't know where I am. Okay, I'm over here. Alright, fantastic. Okay, so you can see that I have this kind of brown mist following me here. So I'm just going to use this deodorant and get rid of it, so I can then take a Mega Potion. Our loadout for this quest is very similar to all of our other loadouts. We've got potions, Mega Potions, Whetstones, and all of the usual things we bring, the usual suspects. Demondrugs, Armorskins, but also we obviously brought deodorants because we really do want to be able to heal. It's one of the most important abilities we have. Yeah, and there I got greedy and he punished me for it. Alright, let's see here. I'm just gonna wait for him to do an attack so I can heal. A lot of his attacks do have a quake effect. So if you're close to him when he does his body slam, and you're not close enough to hit you, but close enough to kind of shake the screen, then you'll get hit by the quake effect. When he does that swipe and then falls to the ground, when he hits the ground, there can be a quake effect there too. And that basically just makes it so you stand wobbling on your legs and it leaves you immobile for a considerable amount of time. But so far this is largely just, he'll either charge in a straight line, fart, or claw in front of him. So you really want to stay to the side of him, to the left side or the right side of him, and force him to turn to attack you. It gives you time to react, prevents those instantaneous claw attacks or instantaneous charges that you want to be aware of. There we go, he's enraged again. You can tell when he's enraged because both his face and his backside turn from a kind of bluish color to a reddish color. You can very clearly see they're red, and that is how you can tell he's enraged. He also breathes what looks like a kind of gaseous smoke from his mouth as well. So you've got those two things there. So yeah, I could go from Area 2 up to base camp to get around to Area 1, but because I'm already down this side of the arena, I might as well just go through Area 3. And these are the 3 areas you'll fight him in. 3 is definitely the worst, because 3 is the smallest and has the most nooks and crannies that you can get caught in. There you go, he patted his stomach and then released a massive cloud, which you definitely want to stay away from. One thing that he can do as well when he is enraged is he can, with a lot of attacks, regardless of what it is, he can accompany them with a fart. So even if he's doing like a claw attack, doesn't necessarily mean that you're safe behind him. There we go. We're just going to roll to the side so that it doesn't clip us again. So like for example, when he did his roar there, he did the fart as well. Sometimes when he's getting up from falling down, he'll do the fart as well. So it's very easy to get caught by one of those. There's his roar. I'm going to see if I can catch a couple of these Vespoids. I can't because this weapon is very slow. It's the only downside of the Greatsword is it can be quite slow. When he runs off into the distance like this, it usually means he's going to eat. And this is where Emerald Congalala can get quite frustrating, because depending on what he eats, he can cause a variety of ailments. You saw him fling dung there. He can fling 3 of them in an arc in front of him. And the best thing to do when you see that, if you're an R in front of him, is to do a running jump, because the trajectory on them is not always as it seems. He can throw them right in front of him, he can throw them far away, and you really can't tell by looking at how he throws. There's no real tell for where he's throwing them, so just do a running jump if you can. Alright, so he fell down here with his claw attack. He can also do this too, which is a kind of a breath attack. Depending on what he eats, that breath attack can be different. It can have different effects. Usually, it's just the same as the farts. It's a dung effect. Does a lot of damage and causes the same loss of appetite. But if he eats a parashroom, if he's holding a parashroom in his tail and then eats that, then it will actually cause paralysis. If he's holding a toadstool in his mouth and then eats it, or in his tail and then eats it, and does that attack, then it can cause poison. And if he's holding a dragon toadstool, I think it's a dragon toadstool anyway, then it can cause fire damage. So you want to make sure you have an armor that has at least some level of fire resistance, just in case he has a dragon toadstool and eats it, and that catches you. Because if you don't have good fire resistance, that could be a one-hit kill. Considering his attacks are already pretty strong, if he gets an elemental advantage over you, that could very well make them instant KOs. And actually, I haven't gone over the armor we're using, largely because it's the same one we've been using for the past few quests. The only difference with the Obituary Tester now, the Obituary Set, is that we have now fully upgraded it. So it is now level 11. Now I'll go ahead and show you. It's now level 11 all the way down, which gives us 78 defense. Now, this isn't as good as some of the armors you can get, but what it does have is good fire resistance. And so a lot of the armors you can get now all have bad fire resistance. It's usually -2 or -3 per piece, which can result in -15, -20, -10 fire resistance, which is not very good, especially against a creature that can deal fire damage. So the best options for you, if you don't want to use the Obituary Tester, even though it does give you evade distance +2, which is nice, but if you don't want to use the Obituary Tester, then the best option, I would say, would be the cooler, the Yian Kut-Ku X, so the blue Yian Kut-Ku set, because that has decent fire resistance. It has better. I'll put that set down in the bottom left for you. It has better fire resistance. It has better defense, capable It has better defensive capabilities than what the Obituary set can do. And I would definitely say it's a good secondary set to use in this fight. Right, so he's doing his little attacks here. I'm just going to pop a potion. He's not enraged, as you can see, because his backside is blue. And that's what we want it to stay, at least for a little bit. But yeah, there's definitely a pattern to his attacks, largely. It's very difficult to actually get hit unless you try to deal with the endemic life that steals your mega potions, in which case it's actually very easy to get hit. But once you learn the attacks, it's fairly reasonable. Here's the breath again. So we're going to run to the side, much like we do with any kind of breath attack like that. Much like Teostra's or Lunostra's, you just run to the side as quickly as you can, preferably his right side, so that you don't get hit by that. He's enraged now as well, so we want to make sure that we are keeping an eye out for the different abilities he gets when he's enraged. Largely just the ability to fart more often. He also becomes faster. There you go, you see, he threw dung right in front of him. Alright, I need to get out of this corner. This could be the death of us. Run, please. Alright, he's swiping. So we got the dung effect from the throwing of the dung that he did right in front of him. So you can see how it didn't seem like that should have hit us. It seemed like he was throwing it far away, but it actually landed right in front of him. See that right there? That's why I say it's best to run and jump when he does that attack, because it's incredibly difficult. This is going to hurt. It's incredibly difficult to dodge that attack once he does it. I'm just going to pop another Mega Potion. And you can see how quickly this can kind of get away from you if he hits you once or twice. It can very easily string these attacks together and kill you in what is effectively one combo. Alright, so he's doing his dung throw again. There you go. You see he did his little stomach out attack that can hurt you if you're too close to him, and then followed that up by farting at the end, which can also damage you too. So please try to stay away from his backside if you can. But what I like to do when I'm doing a triple hit is I will charge up the triple hit him, and then immediately roll to the left or right. Because that way I'm largely protected from any follow-up attack he may have. So let's see, we've seen his charge attacks, we've seen him throw dung, we've seen him push his stomach out. His stomach becomes basically indestructible during that attack. You can't hit it, so the best thing to do is to go to the side, which is where you want to be anyway during that attack. We've seen him breathe whatever element that may be, depending on what he eats. Typically, though, it is just the same dung effect as all of his other attacks. We've seen his body slam and also the triple claw swipe. And high. Yeah, there's the triple claw swipe right there, or the quadruple. And then he falls down on the ground and gives you a chance to do a charged attack. And he's now enraged again. And I think that's largely it. Oh, and the dung throwing as well. He does the dung throwing. And I think those are pretty much all of his attacks. There's not too many to keep track of, but he can combo them together quite nicely. And because of his extreme mobility that he seems to have, he can cover the arena pretty quickly if he wants to. He can be, even though there's only a few attacks he has access to, they can still be quite dangerous. Alright, let's see here. The supplies have been delivered, so we do want to get those for the map. Oh yeah, and then when he becomes enraged, he does that kind of roar, followed by a fart. And you may notice I was rolling away there, but I still got caught by the charge. It has a reasonably wide hitbox on it, much like most of the charges do in this game. So it is a little tricky to get away from. Especially when he does his charge triangle where he charges, and charges again, much like the Hypnocatrice. That one can be quite tricky to evade. Alright, he's no longer enraged, and I think he's leaving? No, he was just charging over there. There's his third charge, and there's the body slam. But he can follow that triple charge up with a body slam, a claw swipe, usually the body slammer. There we go. So yeah, you wanna try and get as many charged hits in as you can, because that's where most of your damage will come from as a Greatsword user. You don't want to try to combo too many hits together, because he is a lot faster than you, and he's able to react faster than you are with the heavy Greatsword. So plant yourself, do a charged hit, and then get out of the way. Is what I would say the best strategy is against Congalala. There's his triple charge again, followed by a body slam. Alright, we only get time for one charge, and even that was too many, because he was able to break through. And so I think what we're going to do here is attempt to get back to base camp. We're going to keep an eye on him. You can see he's covering the arena pretty quickly here. If you watch the pink dot, you can see that. There you go. There's his ending body slam there. You can see how difficult it is to actually get away from him when he wants to catch up to you. Right, so we made it back to base camp, and the reason we're here is, I mean, twofold really. The supplies have arrived, so we can now get the map, so you can actually see the layout of the Great Jungle. Let's see. Let's get everything we can here. Let's get the rations and largely the first aid meds are what we want. There we go. And now you can see what I was saying, how 1, 2, and 3 form this kind of triangle. They kind of attach to each other, and so sometimes if he goes between 1 and 2, I would loop through base camp, heal at this bed, and then go down to the next area. It's definitely easier. And sometimes he will go to area 4, I believe. Last time he did it when he was weak, when he was close to death, but I don't know if that's the only time he does it. So if you can't find him in 1, 2, or 3, he could be in area 4 as well. So now we're going to head back to area 1, where he jumped to. Definitely want to keep him paintballed though, because this fight can take a while, and you don't want to waste your time kind of running around looking for him if you can avoid that. Alright, so he's going to eat something here. Looks like he's eating a blue mushroom. So he's just going to heal a little bit, and then he's going to have his normal suite of attacks. There's that giant fart that he can do, which I forgot to mention in his list of attacks there. And we've knocked him over. That's usually a good sign. You knock him over when you do enough damage, or maybe just when you break a claw, for example. If you break his claw, you can knock him over. But it seems like his claw is still largely intact, so I don't think we've done that yet. So the more you end up knocking him over, the closer you are to the end of the fight. The last couple of times I fought him, he was close to death when I'd broken the front 2 claws and his little hair at the front there, his little yellow hair spike that he has, because I largely hit from the sides, and when he turns around I end up hitting the face as well. So that's, I would say, the best indicator of his weakness is whether you've broken both the claws or not. Because he doesn't tend to limp as noticeably, because he spends most of his time body slamming or charging. So I would definitely say that keep an eye on the claws for weakness, basically. Because the traditional weakness indicator is not very reliable when it comes to Congalala. We missed his tail there, unfortunately. He's doing his quadruple swipe. When he's enraged, there's a lot less time to actually react to what he's doing, unfortunately. So you may only be able to get a single charge or a double charge off. I would say that your best bet is usually a double charge. You can usually get the second charge to hit, but anything over that and you're just risking... Oh, this is gonna... Yep, there we go. Knew that was gonna hurt. Alright, so we got out of the corner, although we can't put our weapons away because of the insects. Just throw this deodorant. Thank you. Alright, now let's see if we can get some healing done. I would recommend maybe trying to get rid of the Vespoids, but there's usually quite a few of them, and they respawn fairly frequently, so I nearly got a running jump off there. So it's not as easy to get rid of them as it might seem. Congalala will naturally kill off some of them with his attacks, because they take up quite a large area. So they will die as the fight goes on, but definitely not as many as you might prefer. There we go. See, he threw that right in front of us, or in front of him. And there's no real difference in the swing, there's no real difference in the angle of the projectiles either. So it's, like I said, best to run and jump when he's doing that dung throw attack, because otherwise it's very likely to hit you. Alright. And so largely, this is the problem, the bit largest problem with fighting Congalala, is just trying to keep up with him and trying to get the damage in. Because he's fast enough that you can only get a couple of hits in between attacks. And so putting the damage in is definitely the most difficult part of the fight. And what makes it go on for so long. He doesn't actually have that large a health pool. It's just that bringing his health down takes quite a while. There we go. I think we broke a claw there, potentially. Or did we just stagger him? Hard to tell. Ah, damn it, we were too close. Alright, we'll go ahead and get a deodorant ready. Alright. Okay, I can throw that down now. He's given us the time. And this is so you can definitely see why you want to bring 5 of your own deodorants, even though the game gives you 2 more. Because it is very easy to get hit, get rid of the status effect, and then immediately get hit again. And through really no fault of your own, other than it's very hard to see in the jungle. I shouldn't be standing here, I knew it. The one time I'm standing there is the one time he does it. The one is because it's very difficult to see in the jungle, and therefore judge where he is. And also, there's a lot of hidden opportunities for him to hit you with those attacks. Alright, so we got that quadruple swipe here. I'm going to stand here, because he seems to be doing that quite frequently now. There we go, we're going to get it out of the way. Looks like he was standing here, so he's probably headed to Area 2. So I'm going to head through home base and heal there. Because we're already in the north of Area 1, so we might as well take advantage of it if the camera will permit me. Because otherwise you do find yourself running out of healing items. So you can bring herbs and blue mushrooms if you want to make more healing items. You can also bring honey as well, and you can find honey in this area and herbs. But, I mean, you can also just use base camp and heal. It actually doesn't take that long to heal up. It also revives your cat, so your cat can either heal you as well or provide a distraction for you to get some damage in. So definitely worth using base camp in G rank, just because you're dealing with much more difficult and damage dealing creatures now. So, in fact, I think I meant to go to Area 1 and I accidentally went to Area 2. Actually, no, I think he might have just made the jump to Area 3 then. Because I think we were in Area 1 previously. Yeah, here he is. This is where you want to keep him paintballed, because he's very difficult to see in the trees, and so you can kind of convince yourself that you've missed him. You can go back to Area 2 based on that. But it's very easy to convince yourself that you haven't seen him, or that you missed him in the area, just because of how thick the thicket is here. It is very difficult to see in these areas. Alright, looks like he's eating. He'll eat here, over here in the back right corner. Gonna roll away. If this Congo would let me. There we go. Definitely a good thing to keep track of your stamina too, because you do end up spend a lot of time running to try to either catch up to him or avoid him. Looks like a body slam, yeah. We can get a third strike off here. Just going to roll out of the way of the body slam just in case. Alright, this looks like a charge. Alright. Yeah, it's hard to tell if he's going to do a charge or a body slam, so just make sure you're staying away from the front of Emerald Congalala. Just because he can either do the three charges, he can do a body slam, he can do the throwing dung, which I think is the most dangerous attack he does, because again, it's the hardest to dodge. Although my dodging of these charges would say otherwise. But I would definitely say that him throwing dung is the most difficult to deal with. Because he can do it at any point in front of him, with seemingly no tell, as I've mentioned. And as he demonstrated right there. Alright. So we see him charging over here, I think at my cat, potentially. Alright, let's see here. And this is largely, like I've said, the biggest... There's that quake effect I mentioned. If you're too close to him falling over, then you just kind of miss the opportunity to attack, and you just end up wobbling in place for a little bit. Alright. Yeah, again, this is the biggest problem with the fight, is that it's very difficult to actually hit him more than once or twice between attacks. And because of how fast he moves, he actually gets quite a few attacks in. So, definitely tricky to deal with. I would definitely recommend a lot of defense. I do think that the extra defense I've added since my first attempt have helped. Because the first time I fought him, he was nearly killing me with most of his attacks. He was doing more than half my damage, or half my health as damage. And now I seem to be able to survive pretty much everything with most of my health, except the giant fart that he does, where he pats his stomach and then farts, that launches you into the air. That's the only one I think that does a sizable portion of my health pool. Alright, so there's the third charge, and there's the body slam. Alright, it is fairly easy to dodge his claws when he does that claw attack. You just have to roll through him. That Conga ruined my attack. He might have also saved my life a little bit, but I'm not going to give him that credit. Alright, we've got a claw swipe or another charge, and then dunk throw. And that's the other issue with Congalala, is there's a certain amount of unpredictability. Oh, he did eat a poison toadstool. See, there's the effect I was telling you about earlier. That depending on what he eats, his breath becomes different. See, right now his breath is poisonous. It might be worth bringing some antidotes with you just to deal with that. But again, the base cap heals any ailment that you have, largely. So I would say just go heal in base camp. Since the fight takes place so close, you might as well take advantage of that fact. But yeah, he ate a toadstool, and so now his breath is poisonous. Only his breath, nothing else gains the effect of the toadstool. Just the breath attack he has. Alright, we've knocked him over again, that's a good sign. I believe the first time I fought him, the fight took about 40 minutes. Because again, this is a high rank weapon. It's not the best weapon available, but it's definitely the easiest one to get that has a good ice ailment. I mean, 400 element, I mean. 400 ice is a lot of extra damage to be getting in each attack. I'm just doing this so I can react to him when he's done. Although he did that, so there's not much I can do about it, really. Alright, I believe he's leaving. He is. And since he's going to Area 1, I'm just going to run to base and heal. I only have one deodorant left, so I need to grab the other two anyway. So definitely worth running back and grabbing those. So yeah, don't be afraid to leave the area and heal and then sharpen and then come back and get back into the fray. Like I've mentioned before, these fights are not easy. They are some of the hardest in the game, and it's definitely worth leaving and coming back than losing the reward money and dealing with all of that. Alright, so I'm going to eat another ration, I think. Okay. But yeah, this is largely what you have to deal with Congalala. It's just the speed he has, and again the unpredictability of what attack he's going to lead up with. That becomes a problem. As you may have saw there, you really couldn't see him through the thicket. The only reason I knew he was coming at me was because I saw the pink dot moving on the map, which is another reason why keeping him paintballed is incredibly useful. Right, I didn't get to see what he was eating there, But really, you just want to avoid the breath attack no matter what he ate. Alright, I think my sharpness has decreased. So I should have taken my own advice there and sharpened while I was out of the area. So I'm going to go do that now. Congalala's not going to give me enough time. I would say like the best opportunity you have to sharpen is when he does his quadruple claw attack. But again, like if he's enraged, that's not going to be enough time to fully sharpen. So we're going to sharpen twice so that it's completely maxed out. That's the other benefit of the golden Serpantblade, is that there is so much green sharpness that you really only need to sharpen once during the entire fight. One whetstone, 2 mini whetstones, and that will carry you through to the end. Alright, so we see here the normal attack here that he has, so it's probably just a regular toadstool that he, or a regular mushroom that he ate. My god. I was trying to think of a word that isn't related to a different Monster Hunter item that you can get. Alright, so you may see that both of his claws are now drastically shorter. It's because we've broken both of them, which means that we... Oh, I hit square. Oh, I didn't mean to hit square. I ham-fisted it, unfortunately. Which means that we are getting close to the end of this quest. Like I said, the claws are the best measure of how far you are in the quest, because you will be hitting him from the edges. And so if you've hit enough to break both of his claws, then you are pretty close to the end of the quest. Need to move, just in case he farts after that attack. At least he didn't, so that's something. Alright, we roll again. Alright, he's over there, I believe. Yes, he is. Alright. Okay, there we go. We get to hit. I don't want to be here. Alright, I'm here. Well, that's a problem. Okay, so we could die from this. If we were stunned from that attack, we would be dead. For example. Alright, keep an eye on him. We want to wait until he's done charging. He's no longer enraged, which is at least good. Alright, he's body slamming, so we have time to heal. Our cat is also healing us. For a lot, that's good. We like to see that. Alright, you want to try not to be under his stomach, because if he does his stomach attack, where he puffs out his stomach, that does a lot of damage. And also, when he does his claw swipes across his body with his left or right claw, that can very easily catch you if you are, even though it may look like you're quite far away. I believe that looks like a toadstool. It's hard to tell. Could just be a blue mushroom, really. Hard to see. The only way you can find out is when he does his breath attack. Looks like he's going down to area 3 here, so we're going to follow him. We're getting very close to the end of this quest. And I do think the ice element is maybe not to blame, but the cause of that. For sure. It's a lot of extra damage that we're going to put in. I believe the main weapon is 862, and the ice element is 400. I will put it in the Bear's Broken Brain, like I said, because I don't know the number exactly. He's now enraged again. Also, if it seems like he's getting enraged easier and easier, then that means you are getting towards the end. Alright, we see a normal attack, so yeah, I do think that was just a regular mushroom. Alright, we're getting a little greedy, and I think we do need to monitor that. You don't want to get too sure of yourself and open yourself to damage that you don't need to take, because there are many times where I have died because of that. I'm just going to keep doing this. If you wanna get a combo going, but you don't want to, I don't see how that hit me from there. If you want to get a combo going, but you don't want to open yourself up to damage, then I would say, we're dead. Damn it. Kind of nullifies my point. But the best combo you can do with a Greatsword is if you do the circle attack where you sweep, and then the triangle circle attack where you pull it over your head. And that way you can kind of just swing back and forth, and you can get quite a lot of damage in that way. And that still leaves you very open to be able to roll, to be able to react to what your opponent is doing, without leaving you open to, well, I mean, getting steamrolled, really, which is kind of what happened. But we're going to ignore that. But yeah, with the Greatsword, circle and then triangle, circle, circle, triangle, circle is a very good and quick combo that gives you a lot of reaction, a lot of ability to react to what the monster's doing. If you don't feel like you have enough time to maybe charge up an attack, then I would say that is worth doing. Alright, so we're going to come back down here. Is he still in here? He is, but where? Okay, there he is. Yeah, you can see he was basically camouflage in all of in this thicket. We've got 10 minutes left. But I mean, one thing I will say about that is that it definitely describes how quickly you can go from being very much on top of it, full health, and then dying. It only took 2 hits. Alright, looks like he's actually going down to area 6, which I think does mean he is weak. Like I said, the only time I fought him in the cave was towards the end of the quest, right before he died. And, so yeah, sorry, he doesn't go to area 4, he goes to area 6. I keep forgetting that area 4 is not a cave. No, area 4 is the cave. And he doesn't go in there, he goes to area 6. Sorry, I'm a mouthful of words today. But yeah. Areas 1, 2, 3, and 6 are where you deal with him, because he goes to sleep in area 6. So what I do here is I get rid of these guys, because these little cats will wake him up if you let them attack you near him, because they'll hit his tail, and then he wakes up, and robbing you of your large amount of double damage that you can get for waking him up. You want to be careful of the Remobra as well, because Remobra can also kind of dive into him and wake him up that way. Alright, please hit him. Thank you. Please hit him again. Thank you. We're gonna so here's the circle and triangle circle combo that I told you about. You can kind of just swing from one way and then back the other way. Swing one way and back the other way until the thing stops moving. It's very useful for cleaning up small creatures, for sure. Alright, so we're going to take our Demondrug because I want this to do as much damage as possible. We're going to do our Armorskin because he may put up a little fight after this. And we are going to do a charged attack on his head. So 1, 2, and then 3, let go. And there we go, we broke his hair as well. See that? Now it's all flat instead of all pointy. He is very close to death, as I said. There's the... He's most likely going to be enraged for the remainder of the fight. Not that the remainder of the fight should take too long, but we do have less health now because we died and lost our food bonuses from the kitchen. So we definitely want to be careful here. I do wish you healed faster. I think it's the only thing that's jarring moving from Monster Hunter Rise back to Monster Hunter Freedom Unite is how long it takes to heal. Alright, there we go. Moving away from his backside because that's what killed me before. Rolling to the front because when he did it twice, the second one caught me even though I hadn't moved. Alright, he's doing his swipe attack. This is good. We get to hit him in the head for free a couple of times here. There is a good chance that he could just one-hit kill us with one of his attacks, so this is why you very much do not want to die, because you lose the kitchen health effects, and you also lose your larger health pool, unless you bring Mega Nutrients or an Ancient Potion with you, which might be worth doing, just to kind of plan for that situation. But I would say, just try not to die. I mean, I know it's not the best advice in the world, but I do think that dying can set you back quite a bit in these fights. And it's best to avoid. Best to avoid death, believe it or not. Alright, I got hit by the Quake effect, unfortunately, so I'm left immobilized the whole time he's on the floor. Alright, I'm going to roll away because he's doing the fling, and I do not want to get hit by that. There we go. We knocked him over. Alright. He's definitely close. It's a couple of charged hits, maybe just one fully charged hit away from death. Alright, one. Is this gonna hurt? Oh, I somehow rolled through that. That's nice. That was mostly luck. I wouldn't recommend doing that yourself, personally. I would definitely say just be a bit more careful. Because he can easily remove both of your remaining retries on this fight in this last arena. Alright, so we've got 2 charges. He's still aiming at my cat, even though my cat has gone. There we go. That is 1 Emerald Congalala. And if you're hunting multiple Congalalas, don't forget that when they die, they do kind of a death attack that can knock you over and even kill you sometimes if you're hunting more than one. So bear that in mind. But that's Emerald Congalala. A much faster and much better camouflaged version of the original Congalala. And I would just say, make sure you bring a fire-resistant armor, just in case. Like I said, I recommend the Yian Kut-Ku X. It's got decent fire resistance. It's got better defense than the tester set right now, even when I fully upgraded it. But I do think that the evasion +2 is very helpful when trying to dodge things like his charge attack and his claw swipes. So it's up to you. Maybe try both and see what you think. I highly recommend the Golden Serpantblade because it has such a good amount of ice attack. If you do manage to get a Kushala Deora weapon by going through the lottery that is the flat Whetstones and all of that, then I would say definitely use that. That's obviously going to be better. But this is easier, and sometimes simplicity is king. But yeah, that's going to do it. I hope this helped you. I hope you've been still enjoying this series now that we've moved into G rank. And next week we're going to be dealing with Tiger X's secretive brother, the Naga Cougar. So make sure you're subscribed for that. It's going to be a good one. Naga Cougar is difficult in Rise and even more difficult here. So you're going to want to watch to see how you handle it with a more limited and pared down moveset. So hopefully that should be interesting. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Like I said, I hope this helped. Like it if it did help you, or if you found some nugget of information here you didn't know already. So we can maybe kind of pass the knowledge along and help more people through what is, in my opinion, one of the best Monster Hunter games that they've made. So yeah, thank you all, and happy hunting.